Salut! Alors, right guys, if you're watching this video, it means on your latest assessment your teacher's given you EBI12, which is talking about others in different tenses. Well done, right? Because this is a good EBI to have. If you can conquer EBI12, you'll be pushing for the very top grades at GCSE, because speaking about others means you have to conjugate verbs in different tenses, which means you have to know the patterns, which shows your knowledge of everything that really underpins the language, conjugation, knowing different tenses, being able to change those tenses naturally, normally on the spot. That is the real step towards mastery that you need to get to when you do your A levels, etc. So this is a really good EBI to have, but it's quite a hard one to solve in a video. So all this video is going to do today is I'm going to show you the theory behind it. I'm going to show you what you need to learn, and we're going to have a little practice, but it's really the long-term steps and the things you'll need to do every single week in your homeworks towards your next assessment that's going to make the difference for this EBI. So have a little watch. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can learn this so well that you won't get EBI 12 again. Alors, right guys, so as I said in the first slide, this EBI takes a lot of practice. It's about mastery, it's about knowing it, and at the start that can seem really hard. And I remember sitting there learning verbs thinking, oh god, I'm never going to remember this. But now they just trip off my tongue. I don't even have to think about them. It just comes, just like I'm speaking English to you now. You don't think about what you want to say. The words just come and you express yourself. You'll be that good, but it's going to take a bit of time. So during next module, this is what you'll need to do to conquer EBI 12. You need to, when we look at a new verb and we'll look at loads, you need to learn how they conjugate, which means how the verb changes. So if we're doing a new module and there's a verb you've not seen before, you need to learn how it changes for je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vu, il, elle, and in different tenses as well. You need to actually physically sit down, learn how it changes, and then you'll be able to use it. And to put this in good practice for your revision homework, you can talk about other people in practically any GCSE question. So when you're looking at your long list, when you're answering some questions, why don't you try and say an activity someone else is doing and then think about how to change the verb to express that. Like I've got here, say like a nice generic question like what do you do in your free time, or what are you going to do at the weekend. People just go into it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, which is great. But remember, this is a top EBI for a top grade. Talk about what other people are doing. So this is my example. Ma sœur va jouer au foot avec son équipe et toute ma famille va aller. Mais pas moi. Je vais, qui veut dire en anglais, my sister's going to play football with her team and all my family are going to go, but not me. Now you see here, I've talked about other people in the future tense and I've changed the verb, and the examiner will love it. This is the sort of thing you can slip into your long list booklet when you're practicing, and therefore into your real exam and get the top marks for it. So this is all about practice. There's no quick fixes. I'm going to talk you through the theory and then it's down to you to see what you can do. Now your extra challenge, this is what I used to do. Whenever I got a tricky verb, mainly irregular verbs, I used to write them out in different tenses and stick them up so I could look at them, so I could practice it, where I'd like cover up the je, tu, il and then say what it is, and then cover up the nous, vu, ils, elles and say what that is. You'll need to do this loads to master it. This is a good extra challenge. If there's any verb you think, oh, I can't remember how that changes, write it up, stick it up somewhere. If you want some post-it notes to do this at home, just ask me, I'll give you a pack. I love you doing this. This is what you'll need to do to get really, really good. So these are the long-term solutions. Let's just explain this EBI a bit, so hopefully you've got a better understanding of the theory underneath it. Alors, so when we talk about others, you need to know how a verb acts, and therefore you need to be able to answer these three questions. So just put me on pause, have a little look at them, and then restart me and I'll go through the answers to each question. Can you answer these three things? Pause me now, réfléchis, and then restart the video if you think you're ready. Alors mes petits, right, you're ready for me now. Let's go through these three key questions. So what happens to the verb when we talk about others? In French, our verb changes when we talk about other people. Now we say changes, we learn this in year 7, the verb ch changes. The proper term for that at GCSE and A level, we say it conjugates, which is just the verb that means to change a verb. What do regular verbs follow when we conjugate them? They all follow a pattern. So if you learn the pattern for an ER verb or an IR verb or an RE verb, when you get a different one or a new verb you've never ever seen before, but it's got the ER, IR, RE on the end, then you can change it naturally no matter what, because they all follow a beautiful structured pattern. However, what's an irregular verb? It's irregular because it doesn't follow the regular pattern. It changes completely. And when you want to conjugate, which remember means change, when you want to conjugate that verb, you've got to learn the pattern off by heart. So these are the 3 key questions. If you knew the answers to these, you're more than halfway to cracking this. The next bit is the long bit. Let's go through and have a little look at the patterns before putting a task on you. Et voila, right guys, so here's an ER verb. I've got Amy. Now remember, most verbs in the French language are ER verbs, so they all change like this. I've got a few examples here. I started typing out examples and I was like, why am I wasting my time? Almost every ER verb will do this. So all we need to do is learn this pattern off by heart. Here's our present tense pattern. Remember, we cut off the ER, then it goes E, ES, EEE for the il est long, ONS, EZ, ENT, E, ES, EEE, ONS, EZ, ENT. That's the pattern. You learn any new ER verb, that's how to change it in the present tense. In the past tense, the perfect tense, remember, our verb avoir changes, the have, and then the ending is just an E with an accent. For the future, the verb aller changes because you're saying what you're going to do, and then it just stays an infinitive, easy. And then this is our exchange today. For the conditional tense, you keep on the ER for your stem, and then you just add these endings, AS, AS, AOT, IONS, IEZ, AIENT, and that is how the verb changes. So for your EBI, whenever you want to use a regular ER verb, if you know this pattern, you can do it for anything. Pretty cool, yeah? So this is ER verbs. This is 90% of the verbs you're going to use in your French. This is IR verbs. There's fewer IR verbs, but they still come up and you need to know how they change. Here's our present tense. Here's the pattern. IS, IS, IT, IWS, ONS, IWS, EZ, IWS, ENT. This is the one my sixth formers always forget. You've just got to learn the patterns. And then for the past tense and the future tense, is exactly the same. We still have avoir, but instead of an E with an accent, IR verb changes to an I. Future tense, we've got aller. You know this off by heart. And then the infinitive. And then for the conditional, it's exactly the same endings, but it's an IR verb, so you keep the IR on the end. And you see, once you've learnt the pattern, it's easy. Look how similar this pattern is to an ER verb, almost the same. All you need to do is learn these patterns, and then you can talk about others. Let's have a look at RE verbs. There's not many RE verbs in the French language, but you will come across them, so you need to know them. And here's our pattern for the present tense. It's just the trickiest one. It goes SS, nothing at all, ONS, EZ, ENT. So it's quite similar to an ER verb. And then the same for the past tense and the future tense. It's just avoir, and the RE changes to a U in the past. And it's aller, and then we keep the infinitive for the future. Easy. Guys, when you look at this, you'll know these are just the patterns. All you need to do is know these patterns and these rules, and whatever verbs you get, ER, IR, RE, you just need to change them according to the pattern. However, there's obviously irregular verbs, and these are a massive pain because they change completely. When we come across them in class, we'll learn them. Here's faire. We've seen this before, like pouvoir, vouloir, devoir. We've got songs for some of them. Aller, another stupid song. We've got stupid songs for a lot of these irregular verbs. You just need to learn them off by heart. And it's hard to learn them off by heart at the start, but when you've got it for the rest of your life. So this is how to talk about others. This is the explanation. These are the things you will need to know. Alors mes petits. Right guys, so we've covered these questions with a nice few bits of examples. Put me on pause, see if you can answer the questions now. If you can't, you'll need to rewind and just listen again. Remember, this is a complex EBI, so if you're finding this a bit fast and hard to understand, that's normal. This is one of the tougher EBIs we look at. See if you can answer these questions now. If you can, keep watching, and I've got a little task for you. If you can't, rewind, have another watch and see what you can do. Alors mes petits, donc en petite activité, let's see what you can really do. Let's see how well you know these patterns. So here is, I did show you this grid before, don't even think about looking back at the answers. This is the ER verb grid. Here I've got all my ER verbs. The colors are there to help you match up the right tense. And then you see I've put the endings in a different color as well. So what you need to do, ce qu'il faut faire, il faut copier la grille et il faut compléter la grille en mettant les verbes dans le bon espace. Par exemple, présent, je, donc je sais que c'est aim. Donc ici je vais écrire j'aime. Voilà. Tu, how does it change? It goes E, E-S, E-E-E. So I need aim with an E-S on the end. There it is. Et voilà. Show me you know the pattern. See how many of these you can put in the right place. So put me on pause now. In your pink books, copy out this table. It doesn't have to be, well, yeah, try and keep it as neat as you can. Copy out this table and then see if you can complete it with these verbs. Don't rewind. Actually test yourself. See how well you know the pattern. I don't care if you get like 3 out of all of these. That's fine. This is your EBI. It's teaching you what you need to do. Just give it your best. Put me on pause. Then when you restart the video, I'll show you the complete table to show you the pattern. Pause me now. See what you can do. Et alors mes petits, here is our complete pattern. This is what your grid should look like. Now, even if you just got a few of these, that is fine. This is your EBI. This is what you'll need to conquer. There's no quick fix to this. So even if you've got 100% on this, you still might get EBI12 in future. It's all about the work you do during the module, during your revision. When we look at a new verb, learn how it changes. You might, when we get a new verb, want to make a table like this for every new verb you see to get used to it. And that's how to get good. One day, soon, you'll know this off by heart and you'll just know all the patterns. Guys, this was EBI12. We've looked at it, we've practiced it. You've still got a daily test to do in your pink books. Keep watching this video and the next slide explains how to do the daily tests if you haven't done one before. That's all from me today. Excellent effort. Well done for getting EBI12. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, me telling you well done for doing something wrong, but this is a lovely EBI. And if you can crack this, you are destined to get a very strong grade at GCSE or at A-level. Alors, merci mes petits. I'll see you next time. Keep watching for the next bit to talk about daily tests. Au revoir. Your next step is your daily test. So your French teacher will have set you this for your homework. You've got your daily test booklet. Do not write in the booklet. What I want you to do, step 1 is in your pink books, copy out this box, copy out all the questions, copy out all the answers, and then copy out the blank test next to it. Then you're going to revise all the answers here. So you're going to spend your time learning this, make sure you master it. Once you've got it, this is what I want you to do. Cover up the answers, make sure you can't see them, and then in the blank test that you've copied out, take out your red pen, see if you can answer all of these questions and see if you can fill in any boxes. Then once you've done that, uncover this and look at what you've done and mark up your work. What have you got right? What have you got wrong? And then have a look. This is the ideal bit. Rinse and repeat. Go back to the start, revise the answers again, and then test yourself again, and then revise again, and then test again, and then mark again, and repeat until you've absolutely cracked it. And then if you've cracked it, say you started Monday and by Tuesday you know it off by heart, great. I bet you by Friday you will have forgotten it again. It's called a daily test because we want you to do it once every day, and the best students do this. Test yourself every day. If you can do it for 5 consecutive days in a row and get 100%, you've cracked it, you've got it, you've done it. So that is your homework for next time. Your extra challenge, guys, is to make a revision poster on this. So why don't you watch the video again, pause it, make a poster, make it look amazing, stick it up in your room or show it to your French teacher, show to make sure you've mastered this. This is EBI7. It is so important. Hopefully now you're happy and you can crack it. Thank you for watching. À bientôt. Au revoir.